How to be a good haole or haole out here in Hawaii. Basically, how to be a good person when you're living out here in Hawaii and you're not from here. That's what we're gonna cover in this video. See you on the other side. What's going on, guys? This is gonna be somewhat of a unique video for someone who's been here for over a decade, someone who's not from Hawaii. I'm not a local in that sense. I've been here for 10 years, but I'm by no means from Hawaii. But there's a couple things you need to learn if you're gonna move here and how you can make sure that you have the best experience possible. And there's lots of rules and regulations that are unspoken codes or unspoken rules that you should definitely apply if you wanna have a good experience while living out here. So we're calling this video, How to Be a Good Haole or Haole out here in Hawaii. Now, a quick background on myself. I am not from Hawaii. I've been here for over a decade. A lot of my family is from Hawaii, but I was not born and raised here. I was actually born in California and moved here about a decade ago. Now, with that being said, just coming from a surfing culture and just coming from a mellow family and being taught kind of the ways of how to be as a person, but more importantly, how to be a person out here in Hawaii. But there's a lot of unspoken rules that you should understand when you're living out here, and that's what we're gonna cover today. Now, the big theme on all of these is going to be respect. Respect is gonna be the biggest thing when it comes to all these things that I mentioned, but I really want to drive that. If you were to end this video today, is just respect the land, respect the people, respect everyone around you. That's gonna be the common theme, but we're gonna break that down even further. So the first thing is driving out here in Hawaii. So when you're driving out here, do not drive fast, do not cut people off, and try to be respectful of everybody's space. There is lots of traffic, especially if you're going from the west side to Honolulu or vice versa. If you're in a touristy area of Waikiki, there's gonna be some traffic, and you need to make sure that you don't get sucked in the frustration of it. Most people, a lot of the local community, moves at a slower pace. So you mentally and actually physically need to move at a slower pace and just be more respectful when people are having to cross the road. Allow them to cross the road. Or if you have to merge into a lane, just do here's your pro tip, throw out the Shaka, throw it out the window, and usually people allow you to go through. And I want you to do the same thing. If somebody needs to come in, don't try to stop them from cutting in, allow them to come through. Allow them to go through, and you will probably be welcomed by a Shaka, and it keeps the Aloha spirit, it keeps it respectful, it keeps everybody at a lower temperature, and keeps the peace and the Aloha spirit that we have out here in Hawaii. Pro tip is throw as many Shakas as possible, and when you're doing it, try not to do it like this or like this. Keep it loose. Keeping a loose Shaka is more of the local way of doing it out here, and make sure you throw it out. It just basically says, hey, I see you, you see me, thank you, whatever. If you have to cut into somebody, throw out a Shaka. If you cross the road and somebody allows you to go, give them a Shaka. It just says, hey, I see you and you see me, and I'm showing you some Aloha spirit, some respect, and some love. The second thing is show respect for the Aina or the land. Do not throw your trash on the ground. If you see trash on the ground, put it in the trash can. If you see trash in the ocean, grab it if you can. It's really important that we actually are respectful of the land here, also known as Aina, and that we do our part not to contribute or to help with taking care of the trash on this beautiful island. The third thing, and a big one for me, is being a big surfer, is surf etiquette. If you're learning to surf out here, I would highly suggest that you get a surf lesson, because learning how to surf and stand up and paddle and find a wave is one thing, but a big part of making sure you have a good experience, you don't get run over, you don't get hurt, you don't get yelled at, is understanding surf etiquette. Now, we're not gonna get into every aspect of surf etiquette and how different places have different rules than others, but it's really important that you understand surf etiquette when it comes to fishing. There's different surf etiquette when it comes to diving, but more importantly, when it comes to surfing. For example, if you're learning to surf, Waikiki is a great spot to do that. Everybody's learning out there, but you don't want to be learning how to surf and go to the North Shore and go surf Rockies or Pipeline, where you have no idea what you're doing and you could hurt yourself or hurt somebody else by cutting them off, by getting in their way, by getting run over. There's just a lot of unspoken rules when it comes to surfing, and when it comes to fishing somebody's spot or cutting them off when it comes to fishing. There's lots of different rules you need to obey that are unspoken that you need to learn about. So just make sure that you get a lesson from a local when it comes to fishing, diving, surfing, whatever it is. Again, it's all about respect. Now, another thing is to respect your elders out here, and that can be done in a couple different fashions. If you see somebody who's older and needs help, help them. If you see someone who's a bit older than you, then it's very respectful to call them auntie or uncle. So if somebody calls you an auntie or uncle, they're probably younger than you. It's a sign of respect. So make sure that you do that as well. So that's just another pro tip for you. Make sure that you take care of your elders, as well as throw out plenty of aunties and uncles. The next thing is to buy and support local communities. So I would always highly suggest, of course, you got to go to Costco to get your groceries. It's just the most economical way to survive out here. But when it comes to buying any other items out here, try to shop local. Try not to buy everything from Amazon if you don't have to. It's always important to support our local community. So go to the farmer's market, go to the local shop down the street for whatever you need, because we want to support the local community that's actually here, because this economy out here is pretty tough to live in. And you can imagine how tough it is for a local person to actually start a business and keep money coming into that business so they can feed their family and continue to live here. So always shop local. The next thing I would say is learn about the history of Hawaii. If you're just moving here and just taking advantage of the beauty out here and not understanding why some of the local community might not be fans of haoles or white people out here, there's a reason why. Is because there is a rich history in Hawaii and how it was basically taken over by many different people. And one thing I would suggest is, if you're not gonna at least educate yourself on YouTube, is definitely check out that new show, Chief of War. It's a great way for you to step into a cinematic way of understanding the history, but also educate yourself more on the history of this place, because it's definitely deep in rich culture, lots of pain, and it helps you be more respectful, again, of the land, the people, and the communities out here. The next thing is to not act entitled. Again, guys, I myself, I'm not from Hawaii. I'm not a local in the sense. I've been living here for a while, but I don't see myself as a local in that sense. There's different levels to this, and it's really important that you don't act entitled and act that you're taking from this place. You should be giving as much as possible and understanding that you're trying to conform to the culture itself and not trying to change it to the mainland mentality. This is a place where everybody is working in a community. We're giving is more than we're taking, which is completely opposite from what I've experienced on the mainland, where I feel like people are not waving at each other, no one's smiling, people are cutting each other off. That's not how it is out here, so don't do that. Next thing is to be a good neighbor. Again, you are a visitor to this island. You do not want to be making the neighbor who's been here for 50 years or is in a multi-generational property that's lived there with their grandma, their grandpa, their parents, their kids. You do not want to be making a bunch of noise next door. You do not want to be yelling at them. You do not want to be laying trash. Just make sure you are respectful of your neighbors, and when you have the opportunity, jump on it when you can help your neighbors, or at least give a helping hand. The next one is that if you're fortunate enough to be invited to a local party or a luau, make sure that you say hello to every single person. That's just part of the culture. You want to make sure that you say hello to every single person. You don't have to remember everybody's name, but it's a sign of respect saying, hey, I see you. I'm showing that I am respecting you, and just saying hello. And that might be a simple kiss on the cheek, a simple hug, a simple handshake. But generally out here, it's going to be a kiss on the cheek for male to female. You make your decision on that, but you want to make sure when you go into a party, you say hello to every single person. And if you got the time, say goodbye to every single person on your way out. It's just the way it is. And the last thing I would say is, again, when it comes to respect, is to give back. We want to give more than we take when we're out here in Hawaii. So if you have opportunities to volunteer, do beach cleanups, whatever it is, make sure that you find opportunities to give back and be a part of the community and show that you're here to give opposed to take. And that pretty much wraps it up. That's how to be a good haole out here in Hawaii. Haole is basically the local term for white person, and it might get screamed at you in a bad way. It might be just used as a term saying, hey, you're a haole, and that's completely fine. So just know that that word can have a bad connotation, but also it doesn't have to be a bad connotation. It's just a simple word to describe a white person. And if you're living out here, it's really important that if you're going to be living out here, that you're a good haole or haole. So with that being said, from one haole to maybe another haole, make sure you're respectful, you provide lots of love, lots of aloha, you give back to the local community. And if you got any value out of this very controversial video, feel free to smash that like button, as well as click the subscribe and notification bell. And also, if I missed anything, by all means, put them in the comment section down below. I'm probably either gonna get a lot of love or possibly a lot of hate, which is totally normal for a video like this. So put them in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it. Hope you guys have a beautiful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Aloha.